Family, we are here. Mr. Brown and I are live for the new year. So welcome. Happy New Year. Happy New You. We wanted to make sure that our cameras were live and you could hear us. Thank you so much for joining in and being a part of this broadcast. I am excited and thrilled to have one of my mentors, partners in business, someone that I love dearly and cherish, that we can start off this 2018 together with you. If you haven't heard of him before, you might have been living under a rock. He is the legendary author, speaker, #1 international motivational speaker himself, the legend, Mr. Les Brown. Let's say hello and Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year. And I'm a legend in my own mind. Just cornbread, all right? Listen, it is so good to be able to spend some time with you. And this is a special time in my life. And I'm excited about talking about people living their dreams. And I want everybody who's watching us now to notify people to watch us, to become a part of this conversation, to become a part of this community. Because we're going to share some things with them that can accelerate their success and increase the possibility of them living their dreams rather than living a life of mediocrity.
I know that's right. That one there, that's a shout, y'all. You get to start this new year off on fire, Mr. Brown. And for those of you who are joining in and someone shared this, my name is Dr. Stacie N.C. Grant. It's a privilege and a pleasure to greet you on this first day of 2018. We're going to have a conversation around how you really position yourself to win in 2018. I believe this is the year that you've been waiting for. I believe that this is our time to really walk in that divine assignment that we've been given. And we're going to get into some nitty-gritty information that you need, not just making resolutions and promising to do things that come the 31st of January, you forget. No, we want to create some routines. We want to talk about some of the things that you need to do to develop the discipline and the focus to really win. The thing that you've been praying for, that you've been seeking, that you've been asking for. You got to do some work because nothing works unless you do. And we're going to talk about that today. But Mr. Brown, I'm just so excited. I haven't seen you since last year.
Yes, I know. The same year. I want to say happy birthday to my daughter, Ayana Najuma Olujimi Brown. Happy birthday to you, girl.
Happy birthday.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about it. Let's have a real throw-down conversation about living your dream, about honoring New Year's resolutions and what does it take to make it. And asking and answering some questions with the backdrop of so many people failing, so many people are stressed out of their minds, so many people are inundated with the debt, so many people are distracted because of toxic relationships, because they're wasting their time watching things that don't serve them. You know, poor people watch more television than anybody else in society. Isn't that interesting? Yes, and here's something else. In order for people to live their dreams, they've got to be willing to change. And Dr. Grant, 9 out of 10 people would rather die and change. Now that's been proven scientifically. 9 out of 10, the people that are watching us now, 9 out of 10 of them will not follow through, will not discipline themselves, will not make a commitment. 9 out of 10 will not engage in a ritual or begin to change their habits, the habits that has produced the life that they now have. Warren Buffett said appropriately that habits are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken.
Wow.
And most people are not going to do that. They're not going to do it. And if I'm looking at my life now, because part of what you have to do in order to soar higher in life, it's like when we see those rocket launches and as they're getting ready to take off, as they go higher and higher, they release certain amounts of equipment and certain things fall away. As you are going higher and higher in life, in order for you to get off the ground, there's some things, there's some people, there's some behaviors, there's some choices that you got to let go. And the reason that most people who are watching us now and those who aren't will end up going to their graves with their talents, abilities, and skills in them is because they don't have the courage to let go of the relationships that's blocking their blessings, the relationships that's robbing them of their energy and their power, the toxic, negative relationships that's derailing their dream. And as a result, they forfeit the opportunity to live a life of happiness and wealth and health and success. There's a guy named Orrin Hudson, and he teaches young people how to play chess. He's out of Atlanta. Very good guy.
Mm-hmm. I know Orrin. Great guy.
Orrin is a character. I don't take Orrin's calls. There's some people in 2018, you don't need to take their calls. I don't take Orrin's calls. I admire him and I like him. But of all the conversations that I've had with Orrin, nothing of any merit ever came out of it for me. I mean, he got a lot out of it. It worked for him, but it wasn't working for me. So I don't take calls from people where the relationship is not a win-win. But there's something that I admire about Orrin. Not only his commitment to teach young people how to play chess and become strategic thinkers, but if you ask Orrin, how you doing, Orrin? You know what he says? It's the best day of my life. I'm living my dream. Let me tell you, when I said, excuse me, what did you say? He said, it's the best day of my life. I'm living my dream. And he says that every time. And Dr. Stacie, I've never heard anybody say that. Usually if people ask me, how you doing? I'll say better than good and better than most. But I like what he says. He said, this is the best day of my life, and I'm living my dream. And so when he says that, here's what I know about Orrin. He's intentional about that. Here's what I know about Orrin. He's serious about that. And what an affirmation. Thou shalt decree a thing that shall be established unto you. And here's where I am. I'm committed, as I'm in my 73rd year on the planet, I'm committed to make the rest of my life the best of my life. And I want to work with people who have that kind of commitment, who have that kind of mindset, who has set some high expectations and has raised the bar on themselves to begin to soar to new heights. But I'm clear that as you look at your goals and dreams, most people are not serious.
Mm-hmm.
They're not serious. You got to let them go.
Let's pause there for a minute, because you said quite a bit that I want to go back to. So let's
go ahead.
In that. Let's talk about change. You said that there's over 90% of people who would rather die than change.
9 out of 10 people.
Or 9 out of 10. So that's 90%.
Yeah. If you said, if you change your habits, you will live. But if you don't, you will die. They did a study in the cardiology ward of a hospital, and former Vice President Cheney was one of the patients. And they told these patients who had a heart attack, your next heart attack will kill you. And in order to prevent that, here's what you need to do. One, and you're doing it already, the Faithpreneur Mastermind provides social support. So they had to have a meeting each week with their social support, a group of people who also had a heart attack, a group of people who also needed to change their daily habits and rituals so that they would not have another heart attack. So they had to have the social support. The next thing is that they had to implement the plan that they'd been educated on how to make healthy choices when they eat. And they had to have someone that would encourage them, someone that will say to them that that you can do this, someone that believes in them. And that's what you had created, that model. And so what happened, that most of the patients within 2 to 3 months had another heart attack and died, including former Vice President Cheney, but he didn't die from his heart attack. But what it proved, that even though these patients knew if they did not participate in the social support, they knew if they did not keep their commitment to making healthy choices, eating differently and how they were educated, and did not continue to expose themselves to a positive message repeated over and over again that you can do this, that 9 out of 10 had a heart attack and died.
Wow. From lack of social support and the consistency that that support gave them. That's major, Les.
And a plan of action. Yeah. So now here's what you can see. Giorgio, I need you to go further, close the door here because I can hear you. Here's what you can see. You know, there's that commercial. I can do a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. Okay, let me tell you something. As you look at yourself, you got to take life seriously. You got to decide, here's some things that I want for myself, I want for my life, I want for my family, and set out to make it happen. But you have to have moments of decisions where you ask the question as you look at the relationships in your life. You have to ask the question, is this relationship working for me? Is it working for me? Now, there's some people that you're in a relationship with, it's working for them, but it's not working for you. I don't call Oren back. I love him. I admire him. I like the work that he's doing with young people. But when I assessed about 3 years ago our relationship, it was working for him real good. He was able to capitalize off my name and off my reputation and my resources and my friends and the influence that I have. But there was nothing in it for me. So I don't accept his call. And I told him, I don't just have him calling, but he calls anyhow. And I admire him. And it's the best day of my life. I'm living my dream. I got that from him. And so I'm living from that. I've learned from him. So here's what I'm encouraging people to do, some very simple, basic things. And I know I'm only talking to 1 out of 10. And that 9, you need to go and look at some other stupid things on YouTube, the fights and all the other craziness that's on there, or look at the idiot box and just leave this conversation. Okay, save yourself the time. You will go anyhow. So here's what, if you're serious about making 2018 the year of your dream, look at your relationships and do an assessment. Is it working for you? Do an assessment. Is it positive? Is it purposeful? Are these people that you're communicating with? See, you and I have a relationship. And my relationship with you, not only is it positive, but it's purposeful. You share my vision of changing the world with your story. You share my vision of loving to help people and wanting to live a life that will make impact. So is it positive? Is it purposeful? Is it productive? Because of my relationship with you, Dr. Stacie, it's a productive relationship. I will take a call from you because I know it's going to be positive. I know it's purposeful because we are on the same page. We talk about the same things. Birds of a feather flock together. That's negative or positive. My mother used to say, if you run around with 9 broke people, guarantee you'll become number 10. Okay? And it's productive. It's productive and it's profitable. It's profitable. You want to have friends that it's positive, it's purposeful, it's productive, and it's profitable. We make money together. That's exciting. Most relationships are socially driven. They're not positive. They're not purposeful. They're not productive, and they're not profitable. Just hang out.
Mm-hmm. Take up space.
Yes. You know, life, there's an expiration date. Life is, you don't know when your number's up. You have absolutely no idea. There's a news report in Atlanta. I used to see her on television. She was beautiful. She's in the airport. Last week suffered a stroke. Gone, out of here. 62. I had a breakfast set with Miles Monroe when I was in South Africa. I wrote the book, the foreword to his book, Personal Potential. I went to the seminar the night before. I saw the sign. I was right across the street from him. So I asked the lady who worked with him, can I see Miles? And she said, he's doing a seminar. Something said, go in the room, walk in the back. He will recognize you. So I decided I was going to do what she suggested. And she said, meet him tomorrow morning for breakfast. I came the next morning at 8 o'clock. She then came in and said, oh, I'm sorry, he left earlier. He was dead a few weeks later in a plane crash. What if I'd taken advantage of that opportunity that night? Neither one of us knew that would be the last time we would see each other. Wayne Dyer, he and I are planning on doing a PBS special together to raise funds for PBS that the Trump administration had cut their budget. And we've been going back and forth for months. He and I had the same mentor, Jack Boland from the Church of the Day in Warren, Michigan. And we did an interview together. We didn't know that that interview was going to be the last time we will ever talk together. Yeah. And finally he called me and said, Les, I'm coming to Orlando. Let's meet and let's go to PBS and cut this deal. I said, great. A few days later, he had a massive heart attack. Here's a guy no longer smoked. He had very little fat on his body. He swam over 1 mile or 2 miles every day. He's in the health. It's out of here. And so we have to seize the moment. We have to seize the moment.
Absolutely.
Most people are not going to do that. And I want and ask me some questions because the reason I want to drill deep on it is because relationships now, and I want people who are watching to write down relationship capital. You want to create relationship capital, relationships that can serve you. I have a friend who she has a database. I met her on a cruise recently. I was on a cruise for a week. Over 300 million people in her database who have an interest in self-development, who have an interest in changing the world. So that relationship can be an enormous relationship for me. And she wants me to speak for her group. Will I speak for them? Absolutely. Come on now. All right. Yes. So here's this is major. And I'm going to say this. And if you can't say yes, I can guarantee you won't reach your dream. Here it is. If a family member, your mother or father, or one of your children become a major distraction in your life, do you have the courage to say to them and to yourself, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I won't do this anymore. I'm through with you. I just mustered up the courage to do that today.
Wow.
For one of my children. In fact, 2 of them. I'm done. I love them. Why? Because in order for me to make the rest of my life the best of my life, I have to do an evaluation. And these 2 have created more drama, more stress more craziness than I can handle. It's not good for my health. I don't want it. I'm done. I love them. There's some people you need to love at a distance. Can't you change them? No. It's an exercise in futility. And I wish I can say that it didn't bring me to my knees. I wish I can say that I didn't cry. I wish I could say that it didn't hurt. Ask me some questions. So
let's get into.
Let's have people to ask questions. How can people email and ask me some questions that I can answer?
Well, they're sending the questions in. Well, the questions are coming in now, Les. Hold on. And thank God for my brother Jason. I'm going to pull up some of these questions. But while I'm pulling it up, I want you to just speak back on the change, because I think the change conversation is so important, that we get so comfortable in a rut. We get so comfortable, like that old story about the dog on the nail, that it hurts.
Yes, I tell the story in my first PBS special. Yes. Well, not only because it's comfortable, negative activity, it's seductive, it's magnetic, and it draws you in. I found myself spending hours on end watching people, and I'm embarrassed to say, knock somebody out on YouTube. I asked myself after a while, I said, what time is it? And how long have I been looking at this craziness? It was unbelievable, one after the other. And so negative stuff, it has a power all its own. Mm-hmm. There's a scripture that says, what fellowship did light have with darkness? None. You can't afford, when you get to a certain level of consciousness, when you have goals that you want to achieve, you're not given the luxury of wasting time with people who don't think like you, people who don't have goals and dreams. You don't have the luxury of watching things that's negative because it will entertain you, where you say, oh my God. I saw this television program I call Love and Hip Hop in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I am in my 73rd year on the planet. I have never in my life have been so embarrassed. Never in my life have I seen anything as filthy, as vulgar, as crazy, as ghetto as that in my life. Nonsense. Nonsense.
And they have such a high rating, Les. Everybody watches.
That's why this is why Jesus said, all power is in my hands. And oh, by the way, the poor will always be among you because they thrive off trash. They love watching craziness. They don't want anything. They beg for what they want and buy what they want.
Say that again. Say that again. Say that again. I'm about to run.
Listen, let me give you an example. I know a young man who has been unemployed for quite some time. I've known him for a long time. I gave him a computer. I said, you can't work a regular job due to the crippling walk that you have because you were struck by a car. But with this computer, you can learn anything. With this computer, I was on a plane, guy next to me, we engaged in a conversation. He saw a crack on my phone. He said, I can fix that for you. I said, how did you become involved in this? He said, I dropped my phone. I went to get it repaired. They said $300. I would have to mail it back to iPhone. And he said, I went online and found out how to repair phones, how to replace the screen on Google. He said, in the last year, I made $265,000. I have a store in Miami and one in Philadelphia. So I told this young man that I've known since he was 5 years old, whatever you want to do, you can Google it and you can learn it. He never did.
Wow.
he had it for about 3 months. He never opened it. Number one, because I gave it to him. See, when people have no investment, no skin in the game, they don't care. Had he purchased it, he would have taken it home to see whether or not it was working. He didn't do that. And how do you know that? Because in order for him to get into computer, he had to call me and ask for the code, and he never did. I called his wife and said, bring me my computer. And then say, why? Because it doesn't matter. I'm not going to fool around with him anymore. I will not take any of his calls anymore. And I love him. I love him. Right. But he is not worth my time. In 2018, there's some people that's not worth your time.
You better say that again, Les, because you taught me this, work with the willing, because I used to think that it was everybody with a pulse that was in 1 foot of me. I wanted to help. I wanted to give. I gave so much away trying to help people that would turn around and then go purchase what they didn't need, but they couldn't invest in my training and program. Oh, no. I learned my lesson. Work with the willing. We got
Yeah, Jesus said, whosoever will, let him come. People buy what they want and beg for what they need. And the more they pay, the more they pay attention.
Oh, I love, somebody type that in quick. The more they pay, the more they
pay attention. Let me give you an example. I used to go to New York quite a lot when I had my talk show. I stayed at the Marriott, downtown Manhattan at the Marriott, right there in the center of Broadway. And I loved the bellman there. I gave them all a set of my CDs called Choosing Your Future. You know that's my best work.
Exactly. Love that.
I started asking them, have you heard them yet? Have you listened to the CDs? For over a year, not one of them went home and broke the seal and listened. Why? Because I gave it to them. It had no value. Had they listened, they would not just be parking cars and hoping to get a tip in the cold, freezing winter. They are in their rightful place. Water seeks its own level. If you're serious about becoming successful, come out from among losers. Come out from among toxic, negative, energy draining people. They're not worth it. Even if they're your family, even as your children, they are not worth, you're wasting your time. Got a note here, yes.
And there's some folks coming in with some questions. You are stepping on some New Year toes.
Okay, let me pause there a minute for a commercial.
Yes.
I'm gonna do a Donald Trump thing. London, can you hear me? London, if you're watching this program, I'm coming to see you. I'm coming January the 20th. If you're watching and listening, email all your friends and say, Les Brown is on the internet now. He's on Zoom and Facebook, and he's coming to London. And it's going to transform their lives. And what I'm going to do, Dr. Grant, is teach them how to live their dreams, how to get unstuck, how to conquer their fears. What I'm going to do is teach them how to tell their story to make a difference and how to create financial wealth. What it's going to do is teach them how to use their story. Maya Angelou said, there's nothing as painful as an untold story buried in your soul. How to use that to change people's lives individually and collectively. I'm going to teach them on how to begin to get unstuck, how to create a shift in their thinking. See, there are three things that's very important, and you're practicing those things with the faithpreneurs. One, having a positive mindset, because when you have goals and dreams, when you're on a plane before they take off, you know what they say? Fasten your seatbelt. Why? Because you're going to experience some turbulence before you reach a comfortable altitude. When you have goals and dreams that you want to achieve, you have to fasten your mental, your emotional, and spiritual and psychological seatbelts, because you're going to take some hits. Things are going to happen that you can't anticipate. And so as you think about that, your mindset is important. The other thing is You have to have something that you love to do. A lady was in a conversation with a guy, and she asked him, "What do you do?" And he told her the kind of work that he did for a living. And then she asked him another question. She said, "What are you living to do?" A friend of mine asked me today, Matthias, he said, "Do you just work all the time when you wake up?" I said, "No." I said, "It's been so long since I've worked, I can't remember." I love speaking. I love changing people's lives. I love helping people. Work is something that you need a vacation from. I don't want a vacation from speaking. I don't want a vacation from inspiring people. I don't want a vacation from preventing people from taking their lives. I don't want a vacation from helping people to walk away from drugs or alcohol or a toxic relationship where they're dying together rather than living together. I don't want to take a vacation from inspiring young people to begin to become an asset to our planet rather than a liability. I don't want a vacation from reducing the recidivism rate. I don't want a vacation from eradicating HIV, hood-infected virus, AIDS, addiction to incarceration, and death syndrome. Before I leave this planet, some of these pants are going to come up. I don't want to take a vacation from teaching young men how not to have a foul mouth and have a sense of decency, and young ladies.
That's right.
I'm looking at this program the other night, and I was shocked with the number of young ladies that use the MF word, or they'll say anything, anything. Yeah. It's a different time. And so, and it's not about criticizing people, because there's never been a statue erected to a critic. What we have to do is do what we do. Do what we do.
That's right. And nobody does it
like
right.
Don't look to the left. Just keep our eyes single and straight ahead and do what we do until we leave here and go to the next dimension. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Les, I want to
go back to London. So London, if you can hear me, I will be sending you some emails. I want you to open them up. 40,000 people in the UK. Les Brown, Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy, and Dr. Stacie Grant's pride and joy. We're coming to London. It's going to be an incredible event.
It's going to be great. Over the pond. Shout out to Althea Grant.
Yes, and tell them to go to lesbrowninlondon.com.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
January 20th. Okay, let's ask some questions.
Yeah, so here go the questions. And I love what you said. If people don't pay, they won't pay attention. And, you know, I created this Faithpreneur Mastermind as an opportunity for the social support, for the accountability, for creating the routines and the disciplines. And, you know, Les, I gave it, and, you know, it was not a normal price. I said, let me just do something and give people an opportunity to invest in themselves at a point where it wouldn't break the bank, but it would allow them to create the best 2018 ever. And, you know, folks still had the nerve to come and ask for a discount.
For a scholarship, but let Beyonce come to town. Or they won't call the ticket office and say, "Do y'all give scholarships?" Let me tell you, one of my granddaughters wanted to see Beyonce. She bought $800 tickets and a wardrobe of clothes and shoes and makeup. I was shocked. Come on. And
800.
Listen, Nick Vorvich, we went to Poland together. And over 25,000 people, when they saw our picture on the screen, stood up and started chanting, "Nick, Les Brown, Nick, Les Brown." And I began to cry. And he said, "What's wrong, man?" I said, "Oh my God, I wish I could get 25,000 people in Columbus, Ohio, where I used to be a disc jockey, 25,000 people in Liberty City or Miami, where I was born, an abandoned building on a floor, in one place, and let me share with them what I have. In Chicago, in LA, in New York. It ain't happening. And let me share this with you. I'm in Cleveland now. Now this, you're going to get a kick out of this. I came to this church, big church in Cleveland. I don't want to mention the name. And this church have a great ministry on ex-offenders. So I was interested in speaking to them because my mother was once incarcerated. So I have a passion. I believe that there are some people who are good people who've made some mistakes. They've made some bad choices and they need a chance. But when you get a felony, you fill out an application, even if you have not been arrested again, even if you've been out for a long time, you put down that you have a criminal record, they fire you. I've gotten people jobs, they were successful in selling cars and performing well in the task that was given them. And once they did a background check, they let them go. So I was going to show them what they can do, how they can create their own job. And I had collaborated with a friend of mine named Alicia out of Jamaica, Kingston, to teach them computer technology, how to become online entrepreneurs. So before it was time for me to speak, I had an hour and a half, 90 minutes. I did not charge my fee. I waived my fee. Won't do that anymore.
Wow.
So they had all kind of little skits before I came up. It's okay. Eating into my time. And then, so it got down to like maybe 50 to 45 minutes. And the minister went up to the microphone and said, the Cavaliers and LeBron James are about to play in about 30 minutes. Tip off. They got up and ran out as if somebody had screamed fire.
No.
Let me tell you something. I sat, I was shocked, and I said to myself, surely somebody's going to wait. Somebody's going to stay here and say, Les Brown, I'm waiting to hear you. And as the building emptied out, and I stacked up my books and the complimentary CDs that I was going to give them. Guys said, just leave the box. I said, no, I'm not going to leave my CDs here. But you brought them for them, yes. But they're going to watch the basketball game. They're going to watch LeBron live his dream. That's good. And so I walked real slow. I asked the guy, help me. He said, can you walk a little faster? I said, I just want to see, hopefully somebody say, hey, mister, don't leave right now. Can we talk? I'll be willing to sit in my car and talk to them. There's somebody here supposed to hear my voice. We were never stopped. They drove out, they almost hit each other, rushing out of the parking lot.
Wow.
I'm telling you, the poor will always be among you. They're building jails. They do it. They extrapolate the numbers of kids in the 3rd grade, the number of African-American boys who drop out of school. They extrapolate those numbers to determine how many prisons to build. See, I believe if you can track failure, you can track success. I tell you.
Wow.
I sat in my car. I cried. I sat there for so long, there was a knock on my window. The guy had a flashlight, a night watchman. He said, are you all right? I said, yes. Do you need a jump? I said, no. He said, all the cars are gone. You can't stay here on church property, sir. He said, oh, you're Les Brown. I said, yes, I am. He said, it's okay, Mr. Brown. I said, no, I'm ready to go now. I'm ready to go.
That's a rough one, Les. That's go where you're celebrated, not tolerated, and to leave without hearing you, and you waved your feet because you were looking.
And came to give them handouts and CDs and was going to do an ongoing coaching program and teach them how they can reinvent themselves.
Well, I've learned from you, and we've said it, in a private conversation. We've said it in the trainings that we have done together. When you work with the willing, you allow yourself an opportunity for your brilliance to be celebrated. And I knew that I get a lot of calls, and I'm sure you do on a totally different level, of people who want to, air quote, pick your brain, or can I sit down with you for a conversation? This is not cotton and you can't pick it. And I understand about giving.
You know what I tell them when they want to pick my brain? Dip yourself in some gasoline and just run straight to them. Pick that. Oh, behave.
Behave, Les, behave.
I'm having a hard time just thinking about this.
Behave.
Okay, let's answer some questions. Look at some of these questions.
So let me look at the questions, but let me just say this, that as you're watching this broadcast, as we're talking about a happy new year, a happy you, it's going to require some changes. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten, right? We know what the definition of insanity is, and we've heard it over and over again. And some of the people that are watching, let me just first give shout outs. Lucinda Cross, she wants to send you some love. She loves you.
Lucinda, I love you, Lucinda.
Yes, Jason Hodge, he's out here. Diane Antley, they're all sending their love. We love Les Brown. And I want to thank all of you that are watching live and wishing you the best. But how do you get unstuck, Les? That's one of the questions. How do you get unstuck? They're hearing us talk about the purposeful discipline, putting yourself around positive people, but they're still stuck. They're listening, but they're stuck. It's like the information is going halfway in and it's stopping right here and it's not depositing into the rest of them so they can actually manifest it. So how would you answer that question? How do you get unstuck in 2018?
I was stuck for 14 years. I didn't do what I'm doing now. And the reason I was stuck is because I asked that question. How do you get unstuck? Never ask that question. My favorite book says, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. Commit yourself. When you commit yourself, I'm going to do this. You will figure it out. Lean not unto thine own understanding. Commit yourself. I'm going to do this no matter what. No matter how bad it is or how hard it is, I'll figure it out. People who ask the question, how, just want to pick your brain and waste your time. How is none of your business. You know what to do. Just get started. If you turn right and you're running in the wrong direction, turn around. Now you're running in the right direction. Just get started. You will fail your way to success. Don't sit around and waste valuable time like I did. How many people I don't know who went to their graves that had they heard my voice, they might still be here. I can't unscramble those eggs, but I'm going to move forward. So I'm saying there's a work for you to do. You were created on purpose with a purpose. Get busy, get started, make a commitment.
That's major. Get busy, get started, make a commitment. I hope you all are writing this down. Some of you are taking notes because as people read this, people see this broadcast, it can really help somebody this new year, this first day in 2018. This information could be what someone needs to hear so they understand to make that commitment. That was a great way to answer that question, Les, not to use the words unstuck, but make the commitment. Because once you make the commitment, providence rolls on in and things start to align and you start to see all the things that you've been desiring, that you're seeking. They're also seeking you and just waiting for you to show up and do the work. So thank you so much for sharing that. And check out faithpreneurmastermind.com. Some of you are asking how you can find out more information. The Les Brown himself, he has partnered up with me. He'll be coming in and doing some bonus trainings for the Faithpreneur Mastermind. Shout out to all of the charter members who have already signed up. Looking forward to those of you who are ready to make that commitment. Faithpreneurmastermind.com. All the information is there, but let's get to the next question that we have coming on in. We are broadcasting on multiple pages over multiple platforms. Don't you just love social media? And what better way to spend your first day of January in the evening, afternoon, depending on when you're viewing, than with Les Brown himself. And of course, me, the loving Dr. Stacie and C. Grant.
Yes. What about Coco? I want to see Coco.
You want to see Coco?
I want you to take off your glasses so I can see Coco, baby. Let's have Coco show up and tell me Happy New Year. Would you have to just say at least 15 seconds of Coco's? Dude, take your glasses off.
We don't know. Coco got to get the glasses so I can't see the questions, but I'm going to get my
No, just talk to me, baby. Talk to me, Coco. Take your glasses off and talk to me, baby.
Let me get my hair, Mr. Brown. Hold on a minute. I'm going to get my bone. Go get my things. I'm going to tell the Nino, vámonos. Go get my things for my hair. I'm going to tell him so Coco can come. Go upstairs, the gold ones. You got to bring it down for me so I can talk to Senor Brown. I'm talking to the little Nino. I'll be right back. And not everybody knows Coco. Senor Brown, you always want to do this thing. You want me to talk. You want Dr. Stacie to get upset with me because you know she like to do all the blah, blah, blah. And now you have me talking, baby. It's a new year. I'm going to be in trouble later, but I'm going to get my little thing. It's on top of the dresser, niño. Obvio. Vámonos. Ándale, ándale. It's the gold one. The fascinator, baby, because Coco is making her debut for 2018. June already, and get my red lipstick. Oh, God, he's coming. Ha, here we go. Hi, Joss, baby. Coco is in the building. You're ready.
We got to take Coco to London. London, January 20th at the event. We are coming with Coco.
You want Coco to come over the palm, baby? I can do it. You got the coins and the dinero. Coco can play, baby. Okay, 2018 is RJ. We're going to live la vida loca. Woo!
Did you believe we get paid to do this? This is our work.
Oh, Lord. Look.
Yeah, don't pull your wig off now, Coco.
It's pulling all my hair. Dr. Stacie will kill me. Okay. All right, I'm back. No more Coco. She's taking out my hair.
Oh my God.
Coco's taking out my hair. Oh Lord, I can't go to London Ball.
Oh my God.
Les Brown, he always wants to bring out Coco. Coco is doing a special debut in 2018, but today is about Dr. Stacie. Okay, Mr. Brown.
Yes. So what, do you have any other questions you're going to ask?
Yes. So Lucinda, my little sis, Lucinda Cross, she says that she just loves you and just appreciates you. I'm trying to see what Lucinda's question is, but Lucinda just loves her Les Brown, and she loves her big sis too.
I love you too.
I love you, honey. So now let's get the questions that someone else has here. How do you know your story is valid?
That's a very weak question. Your story is not for you. You don't know what your story is. You can't read the label when you're locked in the box.
Ooh, y'all get that. You can't read the label when you're locked in the box.
No. Everybody has a story in their heart that can help somebody. Everybody. Let me give you an example. Jeffrey Strofe used to drive 80 miles from where he lived outside of Chicago to see me every week. I was training some youth in Chicago. Jeffrey was a tree cutter, a former skinhead, and he fell out of a tree, and he cracked his back, and he became a quadriplegic. He has a computerized car. And here he is, he's independent. He is a quadriplegic. Somebody has to bathe him, they have to wake him up in the morning and bathe him and prepare his breakfast and everything. He has 2 aides. It's independent. And he's inspiring people. Jose Flores, you met Jose.
Yes.
And Andrea, a quadriplegic. He has some type of muscular paralysis. And he's a quadriplegic, and he is changing people's lives. He says, you are indispensable. He's encouraging, powerful. And he doesn't sit around watching television. He every day he's written a book. I've written a forward for the book. Every day he's going out speaking, making a difference in people's lives. We all have something. How he decided to deal with that. There was a period of time, it was rough. Married, he said, no woman is going to want me. Well, he found one, Andrea. She looked at him and said, the Lord is my shepherd, I see what I want. Even though he's a quadriplegic, something's going on. He's got children. They look like he spit them out. Come on now, help this somebody. Where there's a will, there's a way. Can you feel it, brother? Up in here, up in here. Come on. You know, we have so many men who rather go out and sell drugs and steal. We have I hate to say men. We have so many sperm donors. 81% of the women in the African-American household are headed up by women. 81%. And so when you look at the high incarceration rate, 2007, Time magazine said the computer was the person of the year. Why? For the first time in the history of the world, everyday people had access to information. Even if you couldn't afford a computer, you can go to a library and get access to one or borrow one from a friend. This is the best of times and the worst of times. 20,000 people, according to the Department of Labor, are losing their jobs every day. And less than 7 years, another 30%, 80% of jobs will be done by artificial intelligence. It's called the end of work. All of it will be mechanized for the most part. And so this is a time that you have to stay ahead of technology. And new industries are going to be created. And I'm encouraging all of you to write this down. Knowledge is the new currency. Knowledge is the new currency. If you find something you love to do, like Dr. Stacie N.C. Grant has done, changing lives, speaking, telling stories, working with youth, working with adults, creating the faithpreneurs and working with people who want to begin to bring out the entrepreneur in them. If you find something that you love, like I do, I was born to speak. I always aligned myself in things that allowed me to do what I love to do, speak. When I was in school, I had no idea that what I was doing at that time, I was molding what I would be in the future. Young ladies say, hey, what's your name? They call me Mr. Vocabulary. Linguistically or rationally, I'm emphatic that I possess an ad infinitum etymology which is simply incomparable. However, I want to be like Columbus and discover you, baby. I didn't know that would lead to, look out, baby, this is BLB triple P. Your platter plan papa. There were none before me and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. I didn't know that was leading to, if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time and sleep for it. I didn't know that was leading to that you are uncommon, that you are an unrepeatable miracle. I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I do not wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dull by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I did not know where all of that was leading when I was rubbing my mother's arthritic ankles, swollen from arthritis, and she would tell me stories. I didn't know. Mama, what is it, Leslie? Tell me another story. Which one you want me to tell you? Well, the one, Mama, when your father caught you feeding some chickens to an alligator and he beat you with a buggy whip. And you said when you came home, he put aloe on you from the whelps and he wrapped you in a sheet and you were on a couch and you were nursing your wounds. And all of a sudden the door opened and a dog came in and it stared at you and you couldn't move and you were trying to yell and you couldn't open your mouth. And then a lady came in holding some flowers and you said she went in the room where your father was and you heard her saying, oh. And your father was making this noise. Yeah, okay, I promise. I promise I won't be hurt anymore, I promise. And then the dog continued to look at you. And the lady came out, and the dog turned and followed her. And your father, after a while, came out and said, did you see anybody come out of the room? And you said, yes. That was your mother. But Daddy, you told me that your girlfriend poisoned Mama and she died. Yes, that was your mother. Her ghost came to me. And she told me never to beat you again. Never to beat you again, Mamie. Never to beat you again. Get up. Get your clothes. I'm taking you to town. Where? I don't know. I told her I would take you to town. You have to go now. I swore I would take you to town and leave you there. And she said if I didn't, she would kill me. Oh, where will I stay? I don't know, Mamie. Don't ask me nothing. Just get your things together and go. Go. Mama, did he ever come to see you? No, Leslie. Did you ever go back to see your father? No, Leslie. Did you ever see your father again? No, Leslie. Mama? Yes. Did you ever see your mother again? No, Leslie. Leslie, why are you crying? Mama, I think it's so sad. I think it's so sad. It's okay, Leslie. Give me the other foot, Mama. Let me rub it some more. Tell me another story. Man. Dr. Stacie, my mother was telling me these stories and I had no idea. It was grooming my mind how to tell stories. I can hear a story and I can teach that person how to tell that story and hold an audience on the edge of their seat and create a shift in their thinking. I never had a college education, but I got a PhD from the University of Mamie Brown. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of Mamie Brown. She is quite a woman. Quite a woman.
And what a way you honor her legacy, Les.
Yes. Yes, I love her.
Absolutely. And I just want to
your grandmother was quite a woman.
She was. And you just made me think of everyone who is listening and viewing that one of their cherished loved ones is no longer physically here. The spirit of who they are never dies. Just like Mamie Brown lives in you each and every day. My grandmother, I am the beneficiary of everything that she sacrificed and did so that her future generations could have more. And I protect that legacy with every fiber in my being every single day with this platform, with the work that we do. Lucinda that's watching, her mother is watching with Angel Wings as well. And she lives that legacy each and every day with what she's created with the Activate movement. So many of you out there and some of my personal friends have recently lost their loved ones less in the last 6 months, and parents to be specific. And there's no words to describe what that is until you've gone through it. But the good news is that you get to choose how you live the rest of your life. You get to choose how you honor their legacy. You get to choose how you celebrate every lesson learned, every wonderful memory, everything that you were able to extract from them while they were physically here and while their spirit is now guiding you moving forward. So I just want to share that in the midst of this broadcast, that I know the holidays aren't always easy for everyone. And when you don't have the people you love and able to just grab them and hug them physically, you can still feel their presence. Because Les, every time you talk about Miss Mamie, we can feel her. We can almost see her. We can appreciate how you were rubbing those legs. And we are grateful that she saw something in you that she nourished, that she loved. Despite what they said in school when they labeled you 3 times that you weren't worthy educationally of moving forward, despite what people thought when you were traveling with the frog tails, going to invest in yourself.
Going from Miami to Dallas, Texas on a Greyhound bus with some marinated frog legs my mother had fixed for me, going to a seminar to learn how to become a motivational speaker. And they called me Frog Man on that Greyhound bus. They got to Dallas and said, Frog Man, we're here. And I stood up and everybody started applauding. And I took my luggage and I said, bye, everybody. Don't forget, I am going to become a famous motivational speaker. My name is Les Brown. I'm Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. They said, yeah, but you're a frogman to us. So when I got off the bus driver came, he opened up the side of the bus. We had the terminal. He took my luggage out. I put it on my back and something said, do it. And I hopped into the terminal. I ran it for a frog. And people cracked up on the bus. They said, oh my God, he's hopping into the terminal. They were screaming. And you know what? The bus driver came into the terminal. I was waiting on a ride, and he gave me $750. He said,
wow.
People on the bus took up a collection for you, and they wanted to be a part of your dream. Because they knew I had gotten on that bus from Miami to Dallas, Texas. I knew that I could not get the money necessary to treat my mother with alternative methods that insurance wouldn't cover. She was suffering from breast cancer. And I was determined I was going to find a way to create money, to provide the best medical care for her and to be at her bedside. I was determined I was going to find a way to do it. And I did what she did for me. I learned how to tell a story and make a difference in people's lives. Don't you make me jump up and around. The frog man is still here.
Well, you know what's so ironic about that story and celebrating Miss Mamie sending you with those frog legs. Les, the first training that I came to with you in California happened right after the repast of my spiritual mom who passed away. I had been shepherded by her in my church since I was 8 years old. So it was losing a mother. And the funeral was that Friday, the repast and the burial was that Saturday. I literally left the repast speeding to the airport to get to my first training with you in California with Dr. Sweeting.
Wow.
I was
with us in April at the Les Brown Institute. I want those of you that are watching, go online and check that out. Dr. Anthony Sweeting.
Oh, he is one of a kind. I can't wait to be there with you all, with Dr. Sweeting. And that's the joy. So I'm giving this story for two reasons. One, had I not invested in myself to work with Mr. Brown, this conversation wouldn't be happening. And that was years ago. And I remember the feeling in my heart that was the last prayer she prayed for me, Les, was when I told her that I was getting ready to work with you. And I was so excited, like this was a dream come true. And I was in church that Friday night, for the week before she passed away. And she said a prayer over me and she just saw the excitement. She's like, wow, I see you on stage with this man. I see you traveling and doing. She spoke everything that we are doing now. It is happening. And that was the last prayer. That was the last time that I physically gave her a hug. And then I left that very next week to come to that training in LA with my heart almost in my stomach. I just didn't know where I was. But when I got in that room, I knew it was where I needed to be. I made the commitment that it was time to take my business to another level. It was time to expose myself to all of what you have done for decades, to allow me to expand my territory, to expand my skill set, my mindset, and create a collaborative, achievement-driven relationship for each and every person that worked with me moving forward. I didn't know what it was going to look like back in 2000, whatever that was, because it seems like forever I've been with you, Mr. Brown. But I knew that if I didn't commit at that point, at that level, and Mr. Brown, those were some zeros I had never seen before in my life. But it was worth the investment. It was worth me betting on me. And I wanted to give that same opportunity to the Faithpreneur Masterminds to just get access to the relationship capital that we're talking about, to get access to the thing that you've been seeking. You're like, I just need help. I can't focus. I start something and then I stop. I need help with discipline. I need someone to hold me accountable. And that was the inspiration outside of the other training and private work that we do, Mr. Brown, and the other clients that I have, corporate clients. I said, let me create something for the ordinary person who knows that they have extraordinary skills and talents, but they just need some additional support to get to the finish line. And that's why I'm so excited about how we're honoring the two women we love by the work that we're doing. Miss Mamie is smiling. I know that Reverend Mother Cora Paris is smiling. My grandmother is smiling because we're not sitting here waiting on things to happen. We're making them happen. We're not making excuses. We're taking action on the things that we have been put on this earth to do. So the fact that you have decided to partner in and to be the extra, one of the extra surprises for the Faithpreneur Mastermind, I just want to stop and publicly thank you, Mr. Brown, for believing in me, for loving me, for supporting me, for always being there to push me to my next best version of myself. And that's what it's about, not just what you can do and thinking that you're all that in a bag of chips, is what's your legacy? What are you leaving as an example of how you shared your brilliance in the marketplace? And I'm proud to be a part of your legacy, Mr. Brown. And I'm proud to be able to travel the world with you and bring Coco for Jew, just Jew Papi, around the world as we do what we do.
I'm proud to have you with me. Let me ask you, how many people are watching this? I'm curious to know.
Oh, Lord, we have tell Giorgio to help me calculate.
Hey, Giorgio, I mean, shouldn't there be a number on the screen somewhere that you can look at and see?
Yeah, we have like 10 screens going, Mr. Brown. Give us a second to add it up. We have a couple thousand people watching.
How many people watching? I mean, Giorgio here, the technologist. He can do.
And you got this side over here. So
95 people over there?
Yes, and then you have more on the Zoom side.
Yes, and the Zoom side, I'm trying to add it up. Hold on, let me log in. And then we catch the replay as well.
We don't need to continue this conversation. First, London, if you can hear me, January the 20th, go to lesbrowninlondon.com, lesbrowninlondon.com, and get your tickets right away. I'm going to end this up. I'm going to blow your mind right now. I'm like a broke refrigerator. I can't hold anything. So I have to end this conversation. Are you ready?
Uh-oh, hold on. I'm ready.
One of the things when I train speakers, I said, never use the platform for therapy. Never talking about a story that you are not emotionally capable of handling. I discovered Wesley and my birth mother. And she was around us all the time, and we didn't know. Everybody held the secret until she died. I'm just completing my book, You Gotta Be Hungry. It was so heavy, I couldn't write it. I couldn't write about it. I had to process it. She was an interesting woman. But Mamie Brown, who took me in her heart, that's my mama. So I'm a product of a sperm donor and a sperm carrier. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I think we gave enough to, as Mama would say, Mamie Brown would say, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
We did. And look, I just got, my team just sent me a text saying that we have 22,111 people that we reach. So somebody got a blessing here today.
All right, that's good.
And they're sharing. So I just want to thank you again. We've had a great time in this conversation, Mr. Brown. Love you to life. Looking.
One other thing. London, if you hear me.
We want to make sure they can hear you.
Coming to London, January 20th. Go to lesbrowninlondon.com, a seminar that's going to change your life. It's going to be up close and personal. It's going to be sold out. I want you to go now, get your ticket now. And the first 50 people, we're going to do a special session. I'm leaving, catching the plane January the 15th to get there early so that I can be in a room, a small workshop with people who have a story to tell. And I'm looking for 77 people that I'm going to mentor. I want to thank you, Dr. Stacie MC Grant. You have something special. You have greatness in you. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it, as George Wallace, the comedian, would say. Thank you all very much. It's been a plum-pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege. God bless you, and God bless your dream. Can you feel a brother up in here up in here.
And www.faithpreneurmastermind.com. If you enjoyed Mr. Brown, you'll get to also capture him in our mastermind for 2018. So once again, that's www.faithpreneurmastermind.com. God bless you. God bless your dreams. Happy New Year. Happy New You. Love you, Mr. Brown. And thank you, everybody, for being here live, for sharing it out. And we'll go back in and capture any of the questions we didn't get to answer yet.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.